Okay. It's just the way she, she talks about her childhood experiences and the struggles she's going through with her depression and events and funny things in her life. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend this to anybody. I mean, I can't, it's hard for me to imagine anybody who, I mean, she's very popular. Anytime she puts up a new post on her blog, which is not often, but she always gets like a million hits like within a day. But I don't know who would read her blog entries or these books. She's done two collections of blog entries and additional new stuff. But I don't know anyone who would read her books or her blog and not like her stuff. I mean, she's just really very funny, and she's just a really funny comedy writer. I've heard an interview with her where at one point she actually considered going into like comedy writing, and you can tell she has a tremendous talent for it. She's just really, really funny. So, and just a good grasp of how to use her pictures to tell funny stories.
Yeah,
Just a
I
nice
like her
nice turn
pictures.
of phrase.
It's almost like the simplicity and cuteness of the pictures in a lot of ways means that she can touch really delicate subjects and make them a little bit more accessible
Yeah,
and less threatening.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and she presents herself, very, not terribly sympathetic. Like, you
Hmm.
can tell she's not trying to endear anybody. She's just like giving all the ugly parts of ourselves that we would rather hide from people. And I think that's what good art is about, showing those undesirable aspects of ourselves to an audience, and she's just putting it out there, all the ugly stuff that we'd rather people not know about ourselves. Oh, and the other thing, yeah, I would mention, for those of you who have been here ongoing, remember when we read Now of Brown, or for that matter, Binky Brown. I think you'll see a lot of similarity because you're seeing a lot of the same issues regarding unwanted thought syndrome. I think a lot of these were written and drawn and published before she got like serious diagnoses of her depression issues, which have gotten really, really bad after this book was published. And she's gotten like in serious uh, uh, crisis regarding her depression. Um, and she's done some interviews regarding it, and I think she's still going through serious struggles with it. But anyway, I don't think she had gotten diagnosed with OCD or unwanted thought syndrome. But for those of us who remember when we read Now of Brown, you can see a lot of the same symptoms going on with her that we saw with that and with Justin Green's Binky Brown. Uh, so these are, yeah, serious issues. And yeah, the idea of yeah, unwanted thoughts that just happen to pop up, which happens to everybody, but we just usually think, oh well, that was a funny thought, and you just shrug it off and you go back to your day. But these are people who they can't do that. It preys on them, and it becomes oppressive to the point where it's debilitating. They can't actually function because it's so these horrible thoughts are happening in their mind. And you do see a little bit of the same symptoms going on with Ali Bosch here. I saw the similarity anyway. And if you haven't read Now of Brown by Glenn Dillon, we did that a few months ago. I highly recommend it. It's a very, very good graphic novel. And the way she presents her, struggles with depression, I think a lot of people have said this is just like the most honest and open and clear presentation of what the experience is like that people have ever read. And a lot of people who have struggled through these same issues have said, wow, this is really what it's like. It's just a presentation and a depiction of it that is really very accurate. Let's see. Well, the one I'm trying to find, here we go. No, that's not it. It was, it's like having a bunch of dead fish, but no one around you will acknowledge that the fish are dead. Instead, they offer to help you look for the fish or try to help you figure out why they disappeared. No, that solution is for a different problem than the one I have. Yeah, I think a lot of people who have struggled through depression have said a lot of this, that people just honestly don't understand what's going on with people. It's not about, pulling yourself up. That's just not the problem.
What's beeping? Is that,
What now?
does anyone hear that?
There's a beeping. I don't know
Is an
who's
alarm
beeping.
of some kind?
Who's
My alarm.
beeping?
Oh, sorry, my alarm just went off. I don't know why that was on. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, here. Here it is. I tried to force myself to not be sad, but trying to use willpower to overcome the apathetic sort of sadness that accompanies depression is like a person with no arms trying to punch themselves until their hands grow back. A fundamental component of the plan is missing and it isn't going to work.
She has such an amazing way of explaining things.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and she has a way with words, and she does yeah, I liken it to stand-up comedy. She just on the page. She just puts it in a way that is inherently amusing and entertaining, and it's just so clever. And it's just that's what I think a good monologist or a good writer should be able to do, is to show you the world from a facet, from a dimension, from a perspective that you hadn't seen before. Those are the best writers, I think.
I'll probably say that she's in a state where she's become unsympathetic with the world. Something's gone wrong, or something was wrong with her, or a combination.
Yeah, it's I mean there's a lot to admire about any artist who's going to put themselves out there in the world in front of an audience in this way. Just put out all their inner demons as raw and unfiltered as possible.
Okay, now the motive that she does for herself, which she seems to do for children often, she looks like a fish. It's a deliberate attempt to simplify themselves or almost dehumanize themselves into, I don't know, what is it, a tadpole, a sperm, a fish?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, she has a style that I don't think I've ever seen duplicated anywhere else. It's not like anybody else's cartooning style, but you know,
Something clear about her also, she's a tomboy. For a girl, she's sort of masculine.
yeah, that comes across. Yeah. Yeah, but even when she's talking about these serious issues about her depression and her mental health issues and her struggles, it's still entertaining. It's still funny. She's still very funny. She's just I mean, some of these have just like really, really doubled me over. I've just really laughed like for like 10 minutes. Just it's so funny. I think there were a few of her blog entries that really did me in. I mean, I don't think they're in this book, but and she has another book which I haven't read yet. But if you follow her blog, there's some of the ones there that are just one was a story about yeah, it was like I think it was like I don't remember something with her aunts. I know that, but anyway, I thought it was hilarious. But some of the ones that she's one of the funniest writers I think I've ever read, and that's a fairly
This
short list.
sequence here, which is around page 35, grabbed me. Oh no, sorry, page 41. Now, Lost in the Forest. Now, the problem here is her mother
Yeah,
lied.
yeah,
Possibly it would have been better if her mother had just been honest from the start, but the mother thought, I can lie, we'll get out of this, and I've saved face. But
yeah,
it doesn't work out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Her stories with her dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
it seems the dogs is what she could relate to most easily.
yeah.
And the message there, I think by page 47 is stick with cats. A well-trained dog is a great asset. Less than that, and they can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, yeah. This is really, really a great book, a great,
Okay, the sauce competition.
yeah,
The Habano pepper sauce I learned about Scoville heat units. It was on 500 or something like that.
yeah,
And about the question of competition, experts in both youth sports and child development agree kids are not ready for competition until they're at least 8 years old. Before
uh,
that, they just can't handle the stresses of winning, losing, and being measured and scored on their performance.
okay,
An interesting aspect as this aspect of this story goes on, that the parents think it's very funny to exploit it. I think, she can eat all this, hot sauce.
yeah,
Let's make her a party trick. This shows again and again we see that there's something wrong with her parents. The mother suggests that the mother seems to have been a hippie before, just flow with the universe and be an idiot,
yeah.
and you get the results.
Yeah, I mean, we all have funny stories from our childhood, right? And our families. And I think the mark of a good writer is how you present a good, funny story to an audience is, what you put in, what you leave out, how you present it, when you pick up the narrative. And she's very, very intuitive about all that.
It's like she presents things that everybody has done or experienced at some point, but she makes them exciting and
Yeah.
funny and accessible.
Yeah, she's a good storyteller. I mean, she
Mhm.
tells all these stories in a way that keeps your interest in and are very entertaining and funny. So, and when to cut off and when to start a story and when to end it, and where the comedy beats are and how to most effectively present the comedy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some of the best, funniest comics being done today, I
Here
think.
we are, Metalia's bit, Why I'll Never Be an Adult. Responsibility scale. Yeah, Natalia's, got a problem with paying her bills on time. So I saw a bit of a similarity there. You want to say anything, Natalia?
Wait, which page was it? 53?
This is the one that deals where she indicates her problem with responsibility, that
Yes, that's me.
she
'cause
can't
I like
handle
to procrastinate.
stress. Yeah, she procrastinates. Yeah, Natalia's that sort, which she'll forget about paying her bills. She's told me about it. She gets her cousin ringing up and saying, you haven't paid this bill.
Yeah. I mean, I could, it's just a click away. I just pay, but I don't know. I just don't really
And
feel inclined.
And I honestly do not think that this could have been done in any other format. I don't think this could have been done in prose only. And I don't think it could have been done in standard comics. I think this is the format it needed to be. Any other alteration in the presentation would have diminished it. The form, yeah, the form is perfect.
The literature fans will tell you that it's simply your inability to read.
The pictures are an integral part of this presentation, and sometimes the prose type just drops out completely, and it's just gives over entirely to the pictures, which it needs to, given the place of the story that it is. So it's a perfect melding of what she's telling with the form in which she's telling it, and that, I think, is a good use of the comics format. So absolutely, this is comics. I mean, she doesn't lay out a page traditionally. This is intended for originally a blog, but now it's designed specifically for the ebook format at this point. I think there is a paper edition of this. I've never seen it, but I mean, given the panel to panel continuity and usage of, it's very crude word balloons, but composition, juxtaposition of the pictures with one another. She's going for an effect by the usage of the pictures, even though they're not laid out in the standard way a traditional comic book is laid out. But she knows what she's doing in terms of how to present the pictures in a way that's effective in conveying her story. So that's a good sense of the medium she's using.
There's something about her personality, though. The normal depressive usually is content to crawl off into a corner and find whatever amuses him, Donald Duck comics or whatever, but she's also out stirring up trouble to grab attention.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what manic is? You have extreme high highs and very low lows. And it cycles. And that's the problem. They can't regulate themselves.
And
it's unpredictable.
She's still struggling today. I noticed it seemed her final episodes were still ongoing. She had something like the year 2012.
Yeah.
Which was just prior to the publication of the comic.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first book. This book came out 2011 or something like that, 2012. And there is a second book, which I have not read, but that has more of her blog entries and some new ones in there. But I haven't read that yet. Yeah, I plan to get to it. because she's very good.
When I started off on this, I'd left it till late. I was reading it last night. I just found it very tedious.
Okay.
Got up the next day and started reading it again. And I started to discover it was actually interesting, quite an interesting story.
Slow burn for you, huh? Yeah, I mean, what would anybody object to about this? This is she knows what she's doing. She's very funny. She's humorous. She's entertaining, and she keeps your interest. I mean, I can't. I'm sure there must be people out there who just don't like her stuff, but I don't know. Well, okay. Yeah, so this is really, really cool. Ali Brosh. Yeah, one of the best working today, I think. Yeah, go out, buy her books, support her. She's a good person. We're glad to have her. She's had some tragedies. Obviously, her problems and mental health issues are still ongoing. I've seen some interviews with her where she's still struggling, and of course, tragically, her sister committed suicide a number of years ago.
That was a younger sister, was it?
Her younger sister that you saw she talks about her in in some of these chapters. Very tragic. She lost her own battle with depression, committed suicide a number of years ago. So there was that. And of course, Ali Brosh talks about her husband in this book. She has since divorced. So she's struggling, is my understanding. She's still going through some issues. But what a wonderful writer and artist and comedian, and we wish her the best. Support her in whatever way you feel you can. She's still writing and drawing and putting out good work, and good for her. So, Hyperbole and a Half, and by Ali
What do
Brosh.
you think makes it so funny?
The what?
I said, what do you think it is that makes it so funny? You honestly, you really, really seem to like, and I love it. Like, I think her humor is really strong. I'm just wondering what it is about her humor that makes it so unique and so funny.
Yeah. I mean, that does come down to, what is it that makes humor funny? A lot of people better than me have tried to answer that one. I mean, there are many theories about what makes humor funny, and a lot of people say, oh, it's the element of surprise. It's the juxtaposition of something you're not expecting when presented in a context that is unfamiliar. So you take something from that doesn't belong and you put it in there, and that makes it funny. And you see a lot of examples of that happen. Like, the most basic thing is funny is, somebody getting hit on the head, that's not supposed to happen, or somebody slipping on a banana peel. It's just not something that's supposed to happen, and therefore that makes it funny. When it's something that, is unexpected. Believe it or not, I did write an essay on what is humor in an English class at one point or another, and I'm kind of remembering that right now. I mean, it's just when something unexpected.
Aristotle's
really
lost work.
But wait, what?
Aristotle's lost work, wasn't it? He's he did one on drama, and there's supposed to be one on humor, which was lost.
Yeah.
And that was the whole theme of the book Name of the Rose.
I don't know that one.
I've watched the movie. It's very, very, very interesting film.
Umberto Eco.
Yeah, that's it.
Umberto Eco. That's okay.
I haven't read the book. I've got the book. I'll mean to read it. But you can watch the 1980s film, or recently they produced a TV series.
I have a copy of that book actually as well. I haven't read it, although I've read other Eco books.
And we discover that the loss of Aristotle's work was due to a monk in the Middle Ages who hated humour.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wait, who was it?
Well, it's fiction. It's fiction. This monk hated humour. He understood that the peasantry were, they're jokes. I try to avoid them. I'm here in the monastery, and he was trying to make sure that the monks didn't engage in any sort of sarcasm or humour. He just couldn't stand it. So when he saw them stray, he started murdering them, and that was what the story was about. And it was a great movie. It was a great movie, and the really brilliant part of it is that where it's set in actual occurrence, where the papal hierarchy and the Franciscans debated over the poverty of Christ, leading to a bit of a schism. That was the background story. So you have a character in it who's actually based on William of Ockham. So fascinating
I see.
story, yeah. She actually,
William Blockham, okay.
yeah, actually in this work she went on a bit. So page 63, she gets into thoughts and feelings and discovers that reality doesn't give a shit about her rules. So she's broaching the question of fairness, or we're getting into Albert Ellis territory here, where Albert Ellis says, I'm afraid the world just isn't fair. There's another piece that interested me where we're talking about the wonder of the universe on page 35. This is one that grabbed me, where she was talking about the wonder of the universe, because she indicates general disturbances like the birds tweeting gets on her nerves. Maybe there's just too many of them, yeah. So there's something there. Some people will say, nature, beautiful, so refreshing, I love it. But she's having that experience. She's putting a lie to that truth that I'm looking at the grandness of nature and it's scaring me. It's screwing with me. It's buggering my mind. So in other words, our love of nature is in part a trained behaviour. So yeah, Dave, can you bring up page 35, I think it was.
You remember where that might be?
She's sort of lying down talking about the wonder of the universe. Right, I might have to look it up. I just recorded page.
Well, I don't have pages.
Yeah, or they're down the bottom in the right.
No, it gives me percentage, but not page number.
Oh, rightio. Okay.
Is it the hot sauce? Is it?
It's before then. That's all right.
Is it Lost in the Woods?
Way back before then.
Depression. Helper Dog. God of Cake.
Fairly
Motivation.
readable. Okay.
Simple Dog. Warning signs.
I feel nothing. We're moving on. Should be getting close. Maybe I got the wrong page.
Do you know?
Go on. I'll see if I can find it.
Do you know a word?
Oh, I just noted down. It was seemed to be page 35, unless I got it wrong. Oh, yeah. She's talking with that blonde-haired friend.
Tell me a word.
Okay, everyone noticed.
Yeah, that's depression part 2.
where the blonde is sitting on the couch saying, you should do yoga. And this is in the cartoon image. While watching the sunrise, it's literally
Oh,
impossible
that
to
one.
feel negative and sad while appreciating the wonder of the universe.
Yeah, I know what. Wait.
But she's putting a
There it
line
is.
to that, you know, when later on she's, you know, looking at the crows sitting on the line and they're chirping away and she's just absolutely hating it, you know, but any of the little noises of nature are getting on her nerves, you know, this idea that the universe is beautiful, that nature is beautiful, is something that works when you think that image of nature is confirming your existence. But when you've made an enemy of nature, yeah, that can all flip around. That isn't the grand truth anymore. So the blonde has got it wrong. Yes, there's 99 out of 100 agree that a beautiful sunset is beautiful, but for that 1%, that will be horror.
Yeah, people are different. What
Well,
a concept.
in a different state of being.
Yeah, people have different settings.
Because she's very disturbed by, you know, the garbage truck coming around, and I get disturbed by it too. I've noticed in recent times a bit of sensitivity where all this stuff going on is annoying me. I still like a bit of nature. I still am enjoy that experience of nature, but even there I can feel a bit overshadowed. But we live in a world which has moved on from nature, which is full of machinery and ever more machinery. So it's like they're trying to build a skyscraper on every corner. We've gone mad with development. And everyone's saying, oh, we can't stop now, or the whole thing will fall apart. Stop the world, I want to get off, was the old expression.
Yeah, that is true that people think that, yeah, there's one size fits all remedies for everybody because something will work for most people, therefore it's going to work for everyone. Or everybody has the same settings in terms of their happiness or what is how they respond. Or you get a lot of people who are struggling through mental health issues and depression say this a lot, is just people who do approach it from that way, and they invalidate their experience. They say, oh, you can just pull yourself out of it. Well, no, it's not that simple. These are more difficult issues than that. But people just they encounter a lack of understanding with and a lack of sympathy with their struggles.
Okay, I'm suddenly getting the image, what this image is. This image is a fetus that she's created for herself. Like the blonde is fully developed, but she's still looks like somebody in the fetal stage of it's a bit like, I remember there was a cartoon called Apocalypse cartoons. Have you ever come across them?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was pretty disgusting. There was one called Premi, which was a story about an abortion who lived on and wandered through the world. And, you know, Premi looked like this undeveloped sort of fetus sort of creature. Yeah, I'll see if I can dig it out.
Okay.
That's the name of it. The best one was Rats on Cocaine. Nobody's heard of it?
No. So yeah, I think there, if anything, there would be a lesson here of understanding that, yeah, these people have different settings. I mean, even if it's not actually a, a mental health issue, even if it's just a matter of, preferences. What you like is not going to be what everybody likes. But I mean, don't you find that? It's like everybody thinks, oh, well, everybody has to like the same things I like or like the same food I like. Well, people aren't like that. It's people have different tastes, different choices, and it would be nice if we had more of that kind of understanding that people are different, which is just such an obvious thing, but isn't that the cause of all the problems? I have the things that I like, and everybody else should like, go along with the same thing, even if we're talking about, religion and beliefs and politics and values. I mean, your values are your values, and they, you don't get to dictate what other people's values are. But isn't that the core of all political struggles, all political issues? People thinking my way is right for everybody, which I think we're all sooner or later going to have to come to the conclusion there is no one right way for all humans. We are all going to have to figure out how to live together with a bunch of different values as a society. And I'd say we're a long way away from that revelation, but clearly, obviously, that's what we're going to have to come to sooner or later as a global civilization, where we have to realize, there's no one right set of values for all humans.
Yes, there is. Protestantism, the Protestant faith. The Adventures of Martin Luther. Straight talking. This is one of the interesting aspects that, traditionally the Orient was a place where you saved face, and Western culture was known for its directness. This was said back in the ancient Greek times when the Greek generals were discussing the situation. They were almost coming to blows. They were all savagely arguing with each other. Whereas the Persians, would all, very much the Oriental, all sit around and speak in turn and stuff like that. But in the end, the Greeks won. The Protestants, again, were very, very direct bunch. They weren't so much about saving face. They would approach the questions honestly, and in the 30 Years' War, they won. The Protestants learned the lessons, whereas the Catholics were more Oriental and more about saving face. So there's a big question.
I sort of see what you mean when you said you and Catholicism don't mix in well. I remember you telling me that. Yeah, you told me that once, I remember.
Well, our culture, our Western culture, which was to a great extent one which operated on the principle of being direct and honest for all its warts. As what's his face said, paint me warts and all.
Never heard of that.
But now we look at our political leadership now, and it's become Oriental. It's about saving face. It's about the good lie. But we might argue that Western civilization was so successful because it embraced the warts. Give me the story, warts and all.